Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Make Lemonade. Today we're going to be talking about using your resources. Coming up. What's going on? Welcome everyone to another episode of Make Limited. Today is your host John, and today we're going to be talking about an awesome, topic on something that's been really on my mind, and that is utilizing your resources. And specifically, we're going to be aiming towards social media. And the reason why I've been talking about this, I actually made a live on my page on JJ Film on Facebook. You can go check that out at JJ Film. Check that out. It's a live video. You can see more of my personal intake on resources, and I give you a little bit of information on resources if you don't know regarding Facebook and Instagram. And so today we want to talk about resources are something very effective. And the reason why it's been coming up to my mind is because when I was at a young age going through interviews, one of the things that I was, going through and asking, a question I was asking, well, not me in particular, but the interviewee was always asking, how would you, get more information if you didn't know something? Something along that line. And, the typical answer would have been, just ask, but the answer correctly was resources. Look into your resources. And lately throughout my time now, I've been utilizing a lot of my resources that I didn't think that were useful. And at times, when you are at a point that you're trying to look for things to use to give you, that extra edge or the extra level, go a little bit, more professional look or something like that in those regards. Sometimes we don't use the resources that we have, and we end up spending more money on other resources that we wouldn't have needed until later, but we miss out on the opportunities that we have with the resources that we have at hand. And that is one of the reasons it came up to my head, because I was thinking about resources and why that question was asked. Again, through my time and being in social media and the start of social media has been a very, short time, but yet it's growing so rapidly. And at times when things grow very rapidly, we want to tend to want to get ahead of the game, or we tend to have, what everyone has at that moment, in particular like computers or cameras or, social media, taking the right picture, making sure that it's like everyone else's. And at times we try to buy things or get things that are really expensive. So there's a couple of topics that I wanted to go through. And that's just in regards of using your resources. So the first one that I'm going to go through is using your social media resources. Now, in particular, since we're talking about social media, there has been apps that you can use now on your phone that are very powerful to get your business or your personal brand or whatever it is that you want to share with people out there that can help you very much grow. Now, using this apps can be very helpful. And sometimes, we want to go old-fashioned, and old-fashioned is go through the usual ads like in magazines or newspapers, TV ads, board signs, the usual that we would see advertisement be advertised. And so many times those things can be very expensive. Now, what I'm about to tell you and reveal to you has always been, since, social media started with apps, due to, and the reason why I'm saying this, is because this is only for my mentality of recognizing this. I want to say, of recognize this pattern. I don't believe that this will last for a long time because it's very much affordable and available, that when people start recognizing it and start using it, it might be too late because the bigger companies may already have taken advantage of the opportunity. So this is why I'm saying this right now. Okay, so using your apps for your business. The reason why I say using your apps versus the usual advertisement has gone more affordable, has become more affordable. Why? Because it's literally free. It's a way of communicating with your family and your friends, and then communicating with people all around the world, depending, of course, on what app you are performing or what platform you're using, which would depend on what field or how you promote. Now, that's another story that we'll talk about later. But right now, we're talking about using your resources. This app is a great resources to use. There are free apps that don't charge you monthly subscriptions. They don't charge you anything. There are free apps that you usually, literally use for your personal self. But they have allowed us to put businesses in there, which create opportunity for us people who never had an opportunity to, start or start a business in a very simple manner. And this is an opportunity to take and jump on as quick as possible. And there's many steps to do it. There's many ways to being successful on this. It's an opportunity to do it. The main thing that I recommend, and I'm going to go a little bit off my script here, is that whatever you're doing, make sure that it is a plan for a long terms, not short term, not quick money. Because let me tell you something, if anything ends, like let's say these apps are erased, something else comes up, and it's now they're charging, what happens is you won't have the availability because you were so into that quick money that the long-term plan for you was too far away. And so now you're back on, the same position that you were before you started, which is number one, you have no money and you have no business, and now you're looking for a job. So just a word of, something to think about. Okay, let's get back to what we're talking about. So number one was using your resources, which are apps, using your apps. Number two is using the resources within those apps. Now, this is where I get to more of the technical area, because it takes a little bit of understanding the way, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, it takes a little bit of information, knowledge to know about the app so that you know how it works, how their, rhythm is, how the rhythmic things of the way they, flow and how they run. And which leads me to advertisements. If you have not utilized advertisements now, you're missing out. And this is why. If you're not using advertisement to advertise, whether your business, your church, your, personal self, so people can see you, learn, so you can be, instead of somebody looking for a needle in a haystack, you're being, the whole haystack. Does that make sense? And now you're becoming more visible. The thing about the advertisements is that it's a plus. They're affordable. Right now, they are at an affordable rate that you can literally, for $1, reach around 400 to 1,000 people with the right ad. That right there is a good deal. For $1, reach 400 to 1,000 people in 7 days, $1 each day. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So right now is the moment to jump on it and get it. And this is where us Make Lemonade make our, in a way, our business, because we, people, if I've talked to so many business people and personal people who are just trying to grow their own brand, and I asked them the question, how are you using your resources? And they never tell me that they're using their apps in advertisement. They are taking pictures, they are doing all that Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but they're not posting any ads. Right now, to reach your audience, your specific audience, ads are the most important things, because it's not that you don't have people interested in your pictures or your hobby or your business. It's just that you're not reaching the right people that are willing to invest in your business. Does that make sense? So ads is a way that you can find the right people to invest or to support or to really, really become fans of who you are in your business. So that is the amazing things about ads. Now I'm going to get a little bit into the more not more technical, but more of a basic photography, videography terms of using your resources. Now, if you're a photographer, if you're a filmmaker, or you're a YouTuber, or you're Instagram, Facebook, this applies to you. Anybody who is in social media has to deal with the camera. It applies to you. So many times we try to take the right camera or the most expensive camera. Especially me, being in film, I see myself at a rate that other people are using this camera, and I see that their images are crisp and are better, and I'm like, man, I gotta, buy that camera. And sometimes it's not buying the camera. Sometimes is the software, getting to know your software or getting to know your camera. That resource of just knowledge of knowing better your camera, or knowing more about filming, or knowing more about how to edit, will save you a lot of money. One of the persons that I admire a lot and I consider as a mentor is Dr. Miles, which, God rest his soul, he has passed away. But the thing that he has left has been a knowledge of advice, I would say, for young people and for older people to live a life as a leader. And one of the things that I've realized that he said one time that really just boom, blew my mind away, was he was talking to one of his assistants, and he was telling them, and of course I'm paraphrasing, that he was saying that he went to a library or a bookstore, and he brought this young man with him, and he left. Well, he was about to pay for books that he had gathered, and the young man said, because the guy already had charged him around $400, $600, or I'm not sure if it was more than that. And the young guy says, "Wow, why are you spending so much money on books?" And it was funny what he said, because one, he was like, "Look, I advise, government men or countries, and I have to have knowledge to counsel these people. That's why they call me the mentor, and you're the mentoree, because he's the person that chose to invest in knowledge and have the knowledge that most people would not invest in. Most people would invest in buying a camera that costs $1,000, $600,000 than to invest in spending time knowing the camera that they can afford, knowing the software that they can afford, becoming the best at that software, learning everything possibly at that software. And when they master that, they're ready for a different level of mastery." Does that make sense? I hope it does, because this is what leads me to using your resources. Now, so many times there are, for example, there are backgrounds for photographers that, one of the most popular things is seamless paper. And this paper is amazing. It's thick. When you take pictures, there's no reflection. I mean, it's not shiny. It's just perfect for photography. I myself use it. But many times, coming up into this level, trying to take pictures or trying to take, the same effect as other people that I just admire their art, and I want to just kind of get that same look, sometimes I want to go and buy the same thing that they buy. But you got to work with what you have, which is utilizing your resource instead of going out and spending thousands of dollars on things that you're going to have a hard time knowing because you don't know. Now, of course, yes, of course, I know I have some of you saying, but if you buy that and you learn it, isn't it the same thing? Yes, it is. Whether I like it or not, it is. You can go and buy $6,000 of a camera and try to learn it. But I'll tell you this, it's going to be 10 times harder than learning a simple camera that you can buy at the price that you can afford. Learn it, use the, at the best, that'd be the best at that camera, use it to its full potential. And then when you're ready to use another one, and you're saving money to buy that, it won't be so much of a hassle, so much of a burden for you to buy it, because now you are ready to use it. So all about the knowledge, all about the mentality that you want to get to. Remember, you can get to anywhere and through anything. For example, if I wanted to go to New York, let's say, I can get to New York in very different ways. I can go to New York with my vehicle. I can go to New York in a bus. I can go to New York in my airplane. I can go to New York in a boat. I mean, you name it. I can go on a bike. I can go walking. All of them with different price value to get there. And I might add time. So if you think about it in those terms, you can get any camera you want, but in the end, or not in the end, the price value and the time to get there is going to be different. Does that make sense? So utilizing your resource, make sure that you know what you have and use it. And then when you need something more, get it. And, pretty much, I know this falls into, managing what you have, but this is utilizing your resources that you have. So we have the internet, we have apps, we have, YouTube, we have Instagram, now we can talk to each other, communicate. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to ask the questions to get to the place that we want to get, but we have to utilize our resources. Now, I've seen so many people who have, want a certain look in their image or certain video, or want something to happen in a certain way. And what ends up happening is that they do it themselves without listening or somebody to help them. And they end up doing it themselves, and they're having a hard time promoting. They're having a hard time staying consistent because they don't know anything about it and decide to do it themselves. And that's when I come in. I talk to people and I tell them, look, I want to share with you the information that I have. I want to, advise you. I want to do the project for you. I want to show you how to do it as well. And my point is, for the business, for that service, from me is to get them at their best level that they can possibly be. My point is, if they even get to learn it and do it themselves, that is a plus for me. I have done my job. If they want to go and, to the next level with the person who is, better at something that they want than I am, then by all means, go ahead and do it. They're utilizing your resources, right? My point in my business is to get the person that I'm giving the service to become their best. So I have no problem if, they're like, thank you for your service. We're going to go on by ourselves now and keep going. That is perfect for me, because I am accomplished in knowing that I've succeeded in educating them, giving them the knowledge that they need, and now they can go and tell someone else and grow. And now you see the connection that happens. It's a selfless connection that I call using your resources. Now, I've talked to many people who have not used my service and end up having a major catastrophe of failure, because I literally give my service to them at a very affordable rate, or sometimes even for free as a starter, so I can build up that trust, and they don't end up taking it, and at the end they end up failing. And it's not in all things, because there's many people who have succeeded as well, but I just want to point out, sometimes using your resources or what is available is always important, because as a starter person, you have to work with what you have. You can't just go out and buy, $1 million camera and hope that you can use it. No, because if you don't have no knowledge about it, if you have no experience on it, and you don't know how to get it together, then it's going to be very difficult for you. Not impossible, but just very difficult. So I'm in the business of making things easier for you. I'm in the business of making things understanding, so that you can do it yourself. And if you don't, well, we're still here. We're still going to give our business and so on and so forth. So today it was just a heart-to-heart of utilizing your resources and making sure that you use them to their full potential, and then move on to the next level. Don't overburden yourself if you don't need to, and do everything at the best possible that you can. Guys, this is Make Lemonade. I was your host, John Jimenez, and like always, be the best version of you. We talk to you later.